What up, everybody? Welcome to Faces and Heels, your podcast for professional wrestling here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and we have just wrapped up night one of the two-night WrestleMania 41 from Las Vegas, the Super Bowl of pro wrestling, the showcase of the immortals. I mean, what other taglines they've put on WrestleMania throughout the years. But this is night one recap. I have made no bones about it. This has been probably the weakest build to a WrestleMania in quite a while. That, there were a couple of matches, and I mean a couple, that I was excited for, looking forward to, coming up to this weekend, and the rest of them were just and so it wasn't like last year. Last year was a pretty big event. It felt like a big event. This year it just feels thrown together in some spots, other than the main event of tonight and the main event of tomorrow night. But besides those two matches, those two main events, the rest of the card just feels like the a normal PLE. The lead up to it just felt like a normal pay-per-view, if you will. And it just didn't have that same feel. Now, I started to feel a little ways once I got closer to the opening match. I'm like, okay, it's WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania time. It just started to, I don't know if I was trying to psych myself up, but, it worked until the night started. This was a week WrestleMania night. And trust me, every WrestleMania did not have every single match that was a banger. That's a rarity. You have to go back to, I think, WrestleMania 17 maybe, and I'm a little biased to that one because I was at that one. Or was it not 17, X7, whatever, the one in Houston. I was at that one, and so I kind of got a there's a bias there. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it, but besides that, not every WrestleMania has had just banger after banger after banger every single match. It hasn't happened. And tonight rather, it definitely didn't happen, and I wasn't expecting it to. And that's the sad part. We had 7 matches tonight. 7. So I was expecting at the very least 4 of them to be excellent. And I didn't get that. I got 2.5. And that's sad. It's sad to say. Now, all 7 of them weren't bad. The ones that weren't banging, they weren't bad matches. They just felt like matches. You could have put them on Raw, SmackDown, and I wouldn't have been mad. That's how they felt. They didn't feel like WrestleMania matches, as opposed to, the main event of tonight. Spoiler before we get to the recap and my grades. Yeah, the main event was the match of the night. But we had a couple of them that were close. They were very, very close. Here are the 7 matches that took place at night 1 of WrestleMania 41. Our first match was a singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther putting that championship on the line against Jey Uso, the Royal Rumble winner from this past February. Was it February? I don't know. It's been so long. So you had that to open up the night. You had a tag team match for the World Tag Team Championship where the War Raiders were defending their titles against New Day. You had a singles match between Jade Cargill and Naomi, a singles match for the WWE United States Championship between LA Knight defending his championship against Jacob Fatu, a singles match between El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix, who was replacing Rey Mysterio, who was injured on SmackDown last night. And you had a singles match for the WWE Women's Championship between Tiffany Stratton, defending her title, against Charlotte Flair, the Women's Royal Rumble winner this year. And in the main event of night one, CM Punk with Paul Heyman in his corner versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. So, without further ado, we have 7 matches to get to. Not going to prolong the time because I got to go get some rest and do this all over again tomorrow. On top of the fact that tomorrow is Easter. And so the family probably want to do something, during the day before WrestleMania Night 2 kicks off. So I got a lot going on, just like everybody else got a lot going on. So I'm going to attempt to get some sleep tonight. So I'm not going to prolong the time. So let's jump into the recaps and reaction to these matches on tonight. Let's begin with the first match, the opening match of WrestleMania 41. And like I said, Gunther defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Jey Uso, who won the Royal Rumble this year. We know the backstory. Jey Uso has never defeated Gunther. Jey Uso, I don't think he had a singles championship. Oh, I think he had the He beat Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental, and then lost it again like a couple of weeks after that, maybe a month or so after that. I forgot the timeline, but he didn't have it long. But he won the Royal Rumble. He chose Gunther. Gunther said he was going to make his life a living hell for those 10 weeks. All he did was choke him out every week, and it got long and dry and boring after a while. Like, is this all we're gonna do leading up to WrestleMania? Just see Gunther come sneak up from behind and choke out Jey Uso? This is getting boring. Business didn't pick up until Gunther completely destroyed Jimmy Uso in a singles match, bathed in his blood and really awakened something in Jey. Okay, then it got interesting. Jey looked like he came on a different level. He wasn't yeeting as much. So, all right, we're going to take this match seriously. We open up. The match was very physical as expected. We know Jey coming off of that match from last year against his brother Jimmy, which was arguably the worst match in WrestleMania history, even though there's a match that took place tonight that might rival that, but that's besides the point. We'll get to that when we get to that. That match was so bad, and for him to get to this point where he won the Royal Rumble, he's challenging Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's a testament to his hard work and his commitment to his character. I never was a Jey Uso guy. He's entertaining. I like his work. I really loved him in the Bloodline. Ever since he became main event Jey Uso, not so much. I mean, I don't hate him and I don't love him. I'm just like, okay, it's Jey Uso. We're gonna eat a little while, super kick, big splash, and go home. So it was nothing else to him. But he really had a good match today. It was a very good match. And I guess you can probably give a little credit to Gunther on that, because Gunther don't have bad matches. This is something he don't do. He has never done it. He's never had a bad match. And it didn't start tonight. He actually had a good match. Both men were physical. We had some good spots in here, near falls in here. Jey looked strong. Gunther looked stronger. So it was a lot going on in this match that actually made Jey look credible, made him look like if he was to win this, he would earn it. And lo and behold, he put the sleeper on Gunther. Something that Gunther has been slapping on him for weeks. For weeks. and he used it on Gunther, and wouldn't you know, Gunther tapped out to it. My God, and that just made this match so much better for the simple fact, just the seeds that were planted that we just, and I say we, I'm just going to use me as an example. Maybe everybody else read it leading up to this match um, for all of these weeks, but I was like, man, this is so stupid. Gunther coming out and just choking out Jey Uso. And for it to come full circle for Jey Uso to use that same move to capture the World Heavyweight Championship, brilliant. Awesome job. I actually, they got me. I stood up and clapped. And this is, look, it was no secret. It's no shock or surprise that Jey Uso won this match. Everybody knew Jey Uso was going to win this match. Gunther's mother knew that Jey Uso was going to win this match. It's not a shock. That's not the point. The point of it is how he did it. And that's what sold the match. I actually enjoyed that for what it was. I think they told a story in the ring. It wasn't the greatest match of all time by no stretch of the imagination, but it definitely was a better showing than last year from Jey Uso. And this is probably the best Jey Uso we've gotten in a long, long time as a singles performer. Jey Uso defeats Gunther by submission to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. This match went 16 minutes and 30 seconds, and I give it a B+. A good start to the night. It wasn't great, but it was a very good start to the night. I was encouraged by this match. Unfortunately, they had more matches. They had more matches in between. Our next match was a tag team match for the World Tag Team Championship. The War Raiders, Eric and Ivar, put those championships on the line against the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. I had picked New Day to win, but I was hoping that Big E would come out and swerve everybody and team with the New Day and help them win. This was a boring match. They could have put this on Raw. To be honest with you, the match they had on Raw last week, or was it this past Monday? I don't even remember, but they had a match. It was better than this one. And it was on Raw. I did not like this match. Was just, it wasn't good. It was boring. It wasn't botchy. You know, these are two very good tag teams. The War Raiders on other end, there was some botches there. I think it was nerves from the War Raiders. I believe this was their first WrestleMania, and so it was kind of nervous energy given off by the War Raiders. The New Day, this is this ain't nothing to them. This ain't their first rodeo, and so they were really good. I like their heel run. Unfortunately, I don't like the run. I like them as heels, but the run is bad. You know, the creative is horrible. It's bad. Ever since they turned on Big E, when they got nuclear heat, it has been nothing. They have not benefited from it at all. I guess you can make the argument that they are benefiting from it now because they defeated the War Raiders to become the World Tag Team Champions, the New Day. This match went 9 minutes and 15 seconds. I give it a C-. I just didn't care. And the audience didn't care. The crowd was dead for this match, y'all. Dead. They ain't even boo the New Day. It was light boos for the nobody cared. That's how nothing this match was. They could have they had so many options. So many options they could have replaced this with. And that's not to say that these two teams did not deserve a WrestleMania match. But I can name a better match just off the top of my head right now that would have been a better match. And it is the tag teams from SmackDown. the Street Profits and the Motor City Machine Guns, or the Profits versus DIY or DIY. Anybody from SmackDown. Their SmackDown tag team division is much better. And I think that should have been showcased at WrestleMania, but we got this instead. And the only way I justified it leading up to this night was that there has to be some type of swerve or something coming. We didn't get it. And that's why I was so leaning so heavy on the Big E thing, because that's the only thing that can make this match interesting. It didn't happen. So there you have it. The New Day are the new World Tag Team Champions. Our next match was a singles match, a grudge match between Naomi and Jade Cargill. This stems back to Jade Cargill getting attacked and dumped on top of a car. Didn't know who the assailant was, and it turned out it was Naomi. We found that out at the Elimination Chamber when Jade Cargill returned. Everybody was saying it was Liv Morgan, and she went after Naomi and beat the living snot out of Naomi in the Elimination Chamber, and that spawned this rivalry. The only good thing to come out of this was Naomi's heel turn. Naomi is doing God's work right now as a heel. Those promos and vignettes that she's been producing, that she's been doing, has been phenomenal. Somebody put her in the movie, because she is an excellent actress. And she is killing it in that. That being said, I had picked Naomi to go over in this match for the simple fact we have to keep this rivalry going. Because where do you go after this for either person if Jade Cargill win? That was my logic. Well, now I have to continue to ask that question because Jade Cargill did defeat Naomi. This match was, once again, not good. It had a slow start. Now, this is a grudge match, people. This is a match where Naomi almost crippled Jade Cargill. It should be a level of anger there, to whereas I'm not waiting for the bell. I'm just going to haul off and attack this woman and try to destroy her. That didn't happen. It was a slow start. Of course, Naomi being the most experienced of the two, the veteran of the two, she would have to carry this match. So I was fully expecting that. And for the most part, Naomi did. She tried. Let's not fool ourselves, people. Jade Cargill in-ring work is not it. It is not it. She is very good with the power moves. Her power set is phenomenal because she's a strong woman. I mean, some of those spots were amazing that she pulled off in the ring. That's it. That's it. She has nothing else in her arsenal. She has no moves to set up the power moves. You know what I'm saying? Like a signature move to set up the big power move to her finish. It's none of that. It's power move, and cover. Man, I mean, come on, man. There's no other moves in her moveset. Nothing else. The match was all right. Like I said, Naomi was carrying it until the end, and it got botchy at the end, at least to the finish, and especially that finish. The finish was botched because, like I said, Jade Cargill still it hasn't clicked with her yet. She went for this power bomb. She power bombed Naomi, went for the cover, and then just got out of the cover because she forgot the spot to do her finishing move. So she had to pick up Naomi. The referee didn't count. The referee was like, "No, this is not the finish." So she had to pick her up and do her finishing move, and then make the 1, 2, 3. It was like, oh man. I mean, and I got a lot of high hopes for Jade Cargill. I mean, because Jade Cargill, she has all of the intangibles, man. She is it. But I don't know. I don't know who's working with her, but they need to do more work with her. Because she can be something special in this division, but right now it is what it is. But the bigger question is, where do we go from here? Like I said, with Jade Cargill winning, there's no need to continue this feud. There's no need for Naomi to be heel. So where do they go? There's nothing. There's no direction here, and that's the most frustrating part about this whole thing. But as far as the match is concerned, which went 9 minutes and 20 seconds, I give it a C minus. Yeah, like I said, the power spots were cool. That's what saved it. The spots were cool. There was just no setup to the spots. None whatsoever. But anyways, moving on. Our next match of the evening, it was a singles match for the WWE World United States Championship. I'm about to say World States Championship. For the WWE United States Championship, LA Knight, puts that championship on the line against Jacob Fatu, the Samoan Werewolf. I was looking forward to this match, and I was not disappointed. Up to this point of the night was the match of the night. This was a phenomenal match. It was all gas, no brakes, as Jacob Fatu would say, from start to finish. From start to finish, this was amazing. It was nonstop action, great storytelling. Both gentlemen got their moves in, got momentum throughout periods of time throughout the match, to whereas you didn't know who was going to win. And that's what you want out of a good wrestling match. A good wrestling match will sell you, even though you know without a doubt who the winner is going to be because of how the match was built or how over a guy is or whatever the case may be. You pretty much can piece together who will win a match. But if the two wrestlers in the ring can storytell, can perform at a rate whereas you have no idea who is going to win, you're in for a good match. And that's what we got with this one. You got that also with the Jey Uso and Gunther match. I failed to mention at periods of time I thought Gunther was going to win again. I really did. So that's what helped that match be rated as high as it is. Coming back to this United States Championship match, same thing, but it was done better. It was done better because these guys went at it for 10 minutes and 40 seconds. No breaks, no stopping, no catching your breath. Big spots, near falls, kick out of finishers, outside spots, high flying spots, everything that you want from a WrestleMania match. That's what we got in this match. It was clearly a real WrestleMania level match, and it did not disappoint. In fact, it exceeded all of my expectations. Jacob Fatu defeats LA Knight to become the new WWE United States Champion, making him the third title change of the night. We had 3 title changes already, and we're only 4 matches into WrestleMania. And so I was getting kind of encouraged there. And so good on them. This was an amazing match. Both men looked great. It wasn't a squash. Like I said, I thought LA Knight would go over at one point, and I thought Jacob Fatu was going to go over earlier than what he actually did. But overall, an amazing performance by both of these superstars. I give this match an A minus. It was that good. It was really, really good. Tip my hat to Jacob Fatu. Congratulations to him winning his first singles title in WWE. And I also tip my hat to LA Knight. LA Knight, I don't know if people realize this. That man is in his 40s. That man is in his 40s performing the way that he do. And as somebody who is in their 40s right now, and I can barely lightly jog to the bathroom without pulling a hamstring or blowing out an ACL or something, I am super impressed with LA Knight, man. Uh, Kudos to him. So our next match is kind of a replacement match here, and not a kind of, but is a replacement match where we saw El Grande Americano taking on just fresh in the WWE Rey Fenix. And Rey Fenix is replacing Rey Mysterio Jr. As I said earlier, he was injured on SmackDown just last night, so they had to think quick and put somebody in that spot. And Rey Fenix drew the lucky straw. Let me say this. Let me say this, and I'm not throwing shots at AEW at all. I'm not throwing shots. I don't watch AEW. You know, AEW isn't for me. I don't like their style of wrestling and whatnot. But I know people do, and that's fine, you know, to each their own. But I'm not throwing shots. I'm just making a simple observation. Ain't it funny that every single person that was just scratching and scraping to get out of AEW is in WrestleMania in some shape, form, or fashion? Rey Fenix just got here. He's performing in WrestleMania. Penta is going to be on night 2 tomorrow night in the Intercontinental Championship match. You know, if you look on NXT, Stand and Deliver earlier today, you had Ricky Saints, formerly Ricky Starks, taking on Ethan Page. You know, and they are both former AEW performers. It's just funny how they all are showing up and showing out in WWE. It's something I observed and found kind of humorous. Once again, not throwing shots. Just found it funny. But this match, I really wasn't looking for anything special out of this match, and that's even when Rey Mysterio was involved in it. I wasn't looking for anything special, and didn't get anything special. It was a nice match. You had some good spots. It was high paced. You know, Chad Gable, or should I say, El Grande Americano, is an excellent wrestler. Once again, just like Gunther, he doesn't have bad matches, and he didn't have one here. Rey Fenix is awesome. Like I said, I didn't watch AEW, so I didn't know much about Rey Fenix. But the little that I did see prior to him coming to WWE, I was like, okay, this dude is pretty awesome. You know, I like Lucha Libres. Yeah, so I was excited when they signed him and Penta. But he did good. You know, he did real good tonight. You can tell, once again, nerves. You could tell he was nervous in some spots, but he shook it off pretty quick and put on a real good match. El Grande Americano matched it, you know, in that style, in that Lucha Libre style. It was very Lucha Libre. And if you don't know Lucha Libre, you probably don't like this style of match. But this is Lucha Libre, you know, with the comedy spots and stuff like that, the high flying and the tilt the world, just warp reality moves that they do off of top ropes, walking the ropes and running the ropes and all this here. Yeah, they do that. But I did love the story. It's storytelling. If you can't tell, that's a big part of my wrestling love. If you tell a story in the ring, you hooked me. And that's all I can ask for. And they told a story in this match. And it's amazing how they told this story, being as though this match was technically announced like 2 or 3 hours before we actually got the bell to ring. So kudos to these two guys for putting this on. Overall, decent match. Is it WrestleMania level good? Nah, I wouldn't go that far. But it was good. It was entertaining. And I did like it. And El Grande Americano gets the win over Rey Fenix in this match. on the funny style, of course. He put that little metal plate in his mask and did the diving headbutt. So, but that's the gimmick. That's the sell of this character. And hey, cool, man. Let's keep it running. You know, hopefully we'll get to a point where we get all of these lucha libres, or should I say real lucha libres, teaming up to defeat El Grande Americano, putting an end to that foolishness. Maybe it'll be at Worlds Collide that was announced before WrestleMania started. In case you don't know, WWE inquired AAA from Mexico, the Lucha Libre promotion down there. So uh, that should be cool that they're going to integrate that in the WWE in some shape, form, or fashion, starting in June or July, I believe, with that Worlds Collide PLE. So maybe it'll all come to a head with this El Grande Americano character at that PLE, but we shall see. But this was a good match. I give it a B minus. This match went 7 minutes and 55 seconds. It was the shortest match of the night, and that's a shocker. To say that these two, but I can kind of understand because, like I said, they just announced this match. They didn't have time to prepare anything, but they put together a pretty decent match. So that leads us to our singles match for the WWE Women's Championship between Tiffany Stratton putting that championship on the line against the Royal Rumble winner of this year, Charlotte Flair. And this was the worst match of the night, hands down, and probably one of the worst matches in WrestleMania history. This was a horrible match. Horrible. To be fair, the whole setup to this, the whole build to this match was bad. Nobody wanted Charlotte Flair to win the Rumble. Let's start off with that. Then we get the promos. You know, Charlotte Flair is taking Tiffany to school with the promos, baiting her into stuff. Tiffany Stratton going off script and bringing up Charlotte's personal life and all this here. And it was just, nobody wanted this match. But even with all of that, I still held on hope, because as much as I'm not a quote unquote Charlotte Flair fan, you can't deny that woman performs in between the ropes. She is phenomenal in the ring. So I was encouraged by that. Tiffany Stratton, I know that she's still green, and it was going to be a little botchy. I already knew that going in, but she is a real good performer. Does all type of moves with her gymnast background and stuff like that. And so I was kind of expecting a decent match. I wasn't expecting what we got. And what we got was just garbage, bruh. Garbage. Number one, it started off bad. The champion came out first. Now, it's an unwritten rule that the champion always comes out last. They're the champion. They're the champ. Not here. Not here. Charlotte Flair came out last. And I'm willing to bet, after the outcome of this match, I knew exactly why. And I'll let you know when we get to the end of the match. But I thought it was kind of disrespectful. Normally when that happens, it's because the opponent is going over. It's kind of a tell. But lately they've been kind of deviating from that tale. I guess a lot of people figured that out, so they don't do that as much. But I haven't seen that in a while, where the champion comes out first, and so I thought that was kind of disrespectful. But this was a sloppy match. This is a match that, if I don't know any better, if I didn't know any better, I would say this looked like a match between two people who did not want to work with one another. That's the way it looked. Nobody could get off offensive move that looked good. You know, the spots didn't look good. Nobody made the other person look good. It was like purposely done. And for it to happen repeatedly throughout this match that went 19 minutes, it had to be on purpose. One or two botches you're going to get. We got a couple of botches in the main event, and those are veterans. You expect that. It happens. They're humans. I expect botches in matches. But when it happens so much throughout the match, you can't help but to ask yourself the question, was this on purpose? It had to be on purpose. They had zero chemistry in the ring. Zero. And you had 10 weeks to prepare for this match. 10 weeks. And this is what you got. Very ugly. Very ugly. I can see the story that was trying to be told in this match, but it did not come through. It did not work. And I don't know what to say. It is really embarrassing for both of them. For both of them. But I must say, in a night where we saw every championship change hands up to this point, we finally get somebody retaining their championship when Tiffany Stratton defeated Charlotte Flair to remain the WWE Women's Champion. That leads me to the entrances of this match. Charlotte Flair probably brokered the deal to whereas, okay, I'm going to put this girl over. I'm going to lose, but I must come out last. I got to have the grand entrance. That was the trade-off. That's my theory. Now, I wasn't in the room, but it just feels like a Charlotte Flair thing to do. Does it not? It just feels like the little petty thing to do. Okay, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to come out last. That just feels like Charlotte Flair. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Either way it go, this match sucked. It was horrible. Didn't need to be on this card. This was just, I don't know. It was just embarrassing, man. And the fact that it came before the main event, it took a while for me to get revved up for the main event, you know, because this match just sucked all the energy out of me. And it sucked all the energy out of Alliance Stadium. And because the crowd was quiet. They were dead. They did not care. Nobody cared. But whatever. Tiffany Stratton defeats Charlotte Flair to retain her championship. This gets a D. So that leads us to the main event of night one of WrestleMania 41. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk with Paul Heyman in his corner. I was sitting there thinking, like, okay, well, as the entrances was happening, and I'm looking at Seth Rollins, who had an awesome entrance. Roman Reigns just looked like an alien, you know, because for the first time he came out by himself. Nobody, no bloodline, no Paul Heyman, no championship. He had nothing. He is a king without a kingdom. And it just looks so sad. So sad. And so I was so bummed out by that. And then you get this grand presentation of CM Punk. It was emotional because it went all the way back from when he was at OVW, and you know, him telling his story from his first run here in WWE and whatnot, and to come out with In Living Color live on stage performing Cult of Personality, and him walking out with Paul Heyman. It was just cool. That was a cool moment for him, and he came out last. It was a cool moment for him, and kudos to WWE for doing that for CM Punk after after all the vitriol that this man has spit on this company for years, uh, for it to get to this moment, where, you know, bygones are bygones. I thought that was pretty cool of them to do that. But this match had to deliver for me, because this match was going to determine my viewing attitude for night two. I was going to, of course, I have to watch night two. We all have to watch night two. But my attitude going into night two, will I be excited for it? And it was up to this match to save the night. The triple threat match. These three main eventers, these three veterans in the game, these three probably the top three superstars in WWE, which is odd to say because the WWE champion is not involved in this match. But it's these are the three people that everybody wants to see, and you can tell the crowd was hot for this match. Hot. They were acknowledging Roman. They were singing Seth Rollins' song. They were chanting CM Punk. They loved everybody. We loved everybody involved in this match. And the match did not disappoint. Best triple threat match I've seen at WrestleMania. I don't know. I can't count how many triple threat matches we've had at WrestleMania. And to be fully honest, when they first announced that there was going to be a triple threat match between these three, I did not want it. I was bummed out because I did not want this. You know, I would have picked any combination between the two. Seth versus Roman, Roman versus Punk, Punk versus Rollins. I mean, any combination I would accept one-on-one. But triple threat, I don't want to see no triple threat match. You know, boy, was I wrong. Best match of the night, probably going to be the best match of the weekend, depending on what happens tomorrow night. I don't have too much confidence in tomorrow night topping this match. Might get close, but I don't know if it's going to top it. This was an excellent, amazing match. I mean, top notch. I see that the Hall of Fame is, the WWE Hall of Fame, that is introducing matches into the Hall of Fame this year. The first match was the match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret Hart at WrestleMania. Was it 11? I don't remember. But anyway, that match, the double turn, the match where Austin passed out, you know, because he refused to tap. It was an amazing match. It deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I mention that because in years to come, this one will eventually be put in the Hall of Fame. Hands down. I'm not speaking in hyperbole. This is my heart. I'm saying this with my whole chest. Amazing match. These are three of the best storytellers that WWE have to offer, all in one spot, four. I'm sorry, four, if you include Paul Heyman. In one match, I knew that Paul Heyman was going to turn on CM Punk. I just didn't know how or with who. This match managed to have two turns, a double turn from Paul Heyman. What a swerve. What a swerve. It was brilliant. I mean, chef's kiss brilliance that they pulled this off with. Well, I said double, but actually it was a triple, because we get late into the match. This is after multiple near falls, multiple finishers, multiple kickouts, multiple breakups, multiple use of other people's moves, and uh, it was just fire action that took place throughout this match. But we get a spot where Paul Heyman goes to get a steel chair. Roman Reigns is on one side of the ring laying down. CM Punk is on the other. You have Seth Rollins on the far end of the ring. He has the chair. CM Punk is calling for the chair. Roman is calling for the chair. At that moment, Paul Heyman is trying to decide. He throws it to CM Punk. The betrayal. And it was heartbreaking. Because at that point, I thought he really is going to slide the chair to Roman. To be honest with you, I thought he was going to slide it all the way across the ring to Seth Rollins. I thought that was going to be the big turn. Well, I was a little ahead of myself. He slid it to Seth. He slid it to CM Punk. He gets in the ring with Punk. At that point, I knew. I was like, oh, here we go. He gets in the ring, tells him to hit Roman Reigns. Go ahead, smash him. He gets behind CM Punk as CM Punk raises the chair to hit Roman. He low blows CM Punk. Takes him out of the equation. Picks up the chair. Gets down on his knees and presents Roman with the chair. Roman is laughing. Roman is just all glee, like, I knew it. This is my wise man, you know. So he gets the chair, and he's going to hit Punk, but Paul Heyman's like, no, look at him. This is it. You remember what he did. This is your chance. Get him. And so Roman looks at Seth Rollins. He's about to smash him in the back like Rollins smashed him in the back when they were in the Shield. And just as he's going to do that, he low blows Roman Reigns. And Seth Rollins at this moment, and this is, oh my God, I got tears in my eyes thinking about it. Seth Rollins in probably the best performance. Give this man an Emmy, an Oscar, a Golden Globe, whatever. This moment when Seth Rollins, he just knew. He didn't even turn around, and he just reached for the chair. He just knew that Paul Heyman was gonna do the job for him, and he did. And gave him the chair. He wails on Roman. Gives him the curb stomp, 1, 2, 3. And Pat McAfee, and I don't even care for Pat McAfee as a commentator, but he finally said something that made 100% sense. He said, man, how long has this been going on? How long did they plan this? And I had to scratch my head like, you ain't lying. How long? How long did they plan this? But I'm talking about Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. You know why? Because this isn't going anywhere no time soon. You still got the heat between Seth and Roman, Seth and CM Punk. It's even deeper now because there's a deeper betrayal. Will Ronan and Roman, I keep saying Ronan. Roman, that's the name of my daughter's dog, so that's why I keep saying it. Will Roman Reigns team up with CM Punk to take down Seth Rollins? You know, what's more? What's left to come? What's going to come out? It's so many directions this can go, and I'm so excited by it. But this was an amazing match. Seth Rollins defeats Roman Reigns and CM Punk in this triple threat main event of night 1. It gets an A+. Amazing match. This is the bar. This is the litmus test here. This is what night 1 has to clear, and this is not going to be easy to clear. This match went 32 minutes and 40 seconds, and it could have went another 32 minutes, and I wouldn't have been mad at it. This was an amazing match. Storytelling wise was an A+. The performances by these four gentlemen, were A+. The action, great. No wrong, no notes, no notes. So it saved night one. This this match saved night one. Like I was saying before, if it wasn't for this triple threat match, uh, night two would have just been whatever. It would have been background noise for me. I would not have been engaged or be engaged as I'm geared up to be tomorrow night. But as far as overall night one, yeah, night one. I mean, the main event saved it because the rest of these matches were decent. Other than the United States Championship match, which I would consider a WrestleMania level match, nothing else really checked off the box. Yeah, I like the Jey Uso winning the heavyweight championship, but I mean, nothing. I'll probably forget about that in a couple of months. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to stick with me. The Jacob Fatu winning will stick with me. This triple threat match will stick with me. Everything else, nah. Nah. But overall, it was decent. It wasn't horrible other than that Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair, which they could have burnt that at the stakes. But everything else was all right. But that's one man's opinion. I would like to know yours. What was your favorite match from night one of WrestleMania 41? Are you looking forward to tomorrow night's night two WrestleMania card? I would love to know. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel on YouTube and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to Faces and Heels here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this recap of night one of WrestleMania 41 from Las Vegas. Don't forget, tomorrow night, night two, same bat time, same bat channel. I'll be back to do a recap of that WrestleMania card. Hopefully, it'll be better than this. Hopefully, it'll be better. Hopefully, we'll get a better winning percentage than we did from night one. But until then, y'all be safe. Have a happy Easter. I hope you enjoy your day tomorrow. Going on your Easter egg hunts and whatnot, so you can sit down tomorrow night and enjoy WrestleMania. Until then, y'all be cool.